coming to you live this evening from Charlotte and King Streets, where the Sharon Small building is currently on fire. As you can see, the environs are very foggy looking with thick smoke, although no fire is currently visible. As you can see, several fire tenders are already on the scene and have been for about the past hour. If you can look down the road, business owners are currently trying to empty. Okay, sir. Business. As you can see from down the street. Oh my God. Hey, you look for Paul? He's somewhere there. It is unclear the origin of the fire, but smoke is emanating from all angles of the building, the side facing Charlotte Street and the side facing King Street.
Yeah, let's take it back like this.
the scene at Regent and King Street. The smoke emanating from the Sharon's Mall building is intensifying. I'm not sure if it's clear, but the smoke at the top of the building is extremely thick and extremely dark. The smoke is really intensifying here at Regent and King Streets. As you can see, on the ground floor of the building, another group of business owners have arrived to open their store and to probably get their goods out before anything is damaged there. The fire tenders are coming around to Charlotte Street now. They're bringing another hose around as the smoke and most likely the fire inside the building intensifies. The origin of the fire is still unclear. As you can see, more smoke is emanating from other parts of the building that were not smoking previously. Several windows are now smoking, and the roof of the building is also has thick smoke emanating. The Sharon's Mall at Regent at Charlotte and King Street, is home to a number of businesses, variety businesses to be exact. There are clothing stores, makeup businesses, eateries. As you can see, medical support is now on the scene. Exactly, because I don't understand now. Look, you can now see the fire at the top. No. Okay, we're now getting our first glimpses of the fire in the Sharon's Mall at Charlotte and King Streets. As you can see, the orange highlights at the top of the building is indicating that the fire is somewhere at the top there. According to a woman we just spoke to on the scene, the fire most likely started on the 3rd floor of the building. Eyewitness reports that the 3rd floor is where the first set of smoke started emanating from, and it subsequently engulfed the entire building. It is quite a sad situation at Charlotte and King Streets, especially for those business owners who have their goods in the Sharon's Mall. A number of them are now rushing to get their businesses opened so that they could save their goods and most likely their way of life. It is quite impossible for me to go further than I am, but I will zoom so that you're able to see what is going on the ground floor of the Sharon's Mall as business owners try to get their goods from out of their stores. Of course, these business owners are in a prime position to get their goods. The ones on the second, third, and fourth floor are not quite as lucky. It is still unclear whether or not the fire tenders have been able to get into the building in some way or form. Just a reminder, this is iNews coming to you live from King and Charlotte Streets, where the Sharon's Mall building is currently engulfed in fire. As the minutes go by, the fire seems to intensify. Here we're getting a glimpse of another business owner trying to get into his store on the ground floor of Sharon's Mall. Another report from Charlotte and King Streets. The Honorable Anand Prasad is on the scene and is on looking at what is going on at the Sharon's Mall here at Regent and King's at King and Charlotte Streets, Georgetown. Getting a glimpse here of the Honorable Anand Prasad looking on at the fire at Charlotte and King Streets. Once again, this is iNews coming to you live from Charlotte and King Streets, where the Sharon's Mall building is engulfed in flames. While there has been no official word from any of the fire tenders on the scene, this seems to be a major fire here at the Sharon's Mall.
So on the scene, let's see if we can get the top.
See if you could see Joining his parliamentary mate here at Charlotte and King Streets is the Honorable Robeson Ben. He's currently consulting with fire tenders and other officials on the ground, and iNews will try to get a comment from him a little later on or in a few minutes.
Wait, see! Oh.
Additionally, there seems to be some more support for the Guyana Fire Service here on the scene at Charlotte and King Streets, where a few plainclothes officers are out. It seems that they will be helping with attaching the hoses so far because they are not in uniform as yet.
I can't understand. Nothing went to the yes, it's like I need. Why saying to the time when she called me and she go there, it's my stuff.
Yes, I talked to him and I said I sent him until I know that it's safe and I will put it because like my sister, she was stationary.
Getting a glimpse here of the Honorables
And I thought she was
Robeson Ben and Anand Prasad on the scene at Charlotte and King Streets, where the Sharon Small building is currently engulfed in flames.
and then people taking it
iNews will try subsequently to get a comment from the minister. We are now getting our first glimpses of a ladder at the scene at Charlotte and King Streets, where the Sharon Small building is involved. This is the first glimpse of a ladder, might I add. A few moments ago, iNews heard from some aggrieved business owners who complained about the slothfulness of the Guyana Fire Service. They indicated that the fire was probably under control in the infancy stages, and one business owner expressed that she was able to save 2 printers from her business. However, the fire is now out of control and no one has been able to enter the building since. As you can see here from the Charlotte Street face of the Sharon Small building, a few fire tenders are trying to get some water into the building. However, their hoses seems to be no match for what is going on here at the Sharon Small.
I don't know if I see the thing.
Checking the time, right?
6:51.
The Honorable Aunt Anna and Prasad.
All them that love to play the store. Them play in the store.
A business owner here on the scene is trying to get a word with the minister. This was the same business owner who indicated that she was able to save 2 printers from her store before she was not allowed to go back into the building as the fire inside intensified. It appears as though several firemen are trying to gain access to the Sharon Small building from the Charlotte Street end through the 2nd floor.
So far of the incident is that somewhere around 11 today, Starbucks is one of the places on the floor that smoke. They didn't react yet, and maybe they presumed it was just a passing thing. But that somewhere around 4:35, I guess, the fire broke out. It appeared as though when I got here, maybe about 40 minutes ago, that they had it under control. But what appears to be happening is that it's a concrete and steel building with drop ceilings. And the fire is moving slowly along the installation, conduit to electricity and water. And so it's burning along on the other floor, between the floor itself and the drop ceiling. And that's what is making it difficult. So we're seeing it getting gray and blacker, actually actively burning. Where it's gray or white, it's watery and black. So it's difficult, but we're working on this. Obviously, there is issues we have to look at with the construction of the building and fundamental issues. The use of fire alarm, the provision of sprinkler systems, and the provision of riser beams in these types of buildings once they get over 100 stories high. Those things have to be buildings. Fire alarms, riser beams, and sprinkler system. The one thing I can tell you that structurally the building itself is not destroyed.
Mr. Ben, you have been critical about the service, type of service by
I have said that the fire service needs to better understand the type of building construction and the challenges they have, and then getting up to B&B from no criticism to be made.
But in this case, some applicants are saying the fire was a little smaller after 5 o'clock, and it could have been saved.
No. I am telling you, and if you paid attention, that they may have thought that they had it under control, but that the electrification, the wiring of the building, that it was obviously moving along that. Moving along that between the floor and the drop ceiling. So where you see maybe from the time we got here, we suddenly got another floor, and suddenly got to this side, that is this. If there's wiring with plastic or whatever shielding it, that is burning, along with any other flammable material. Alright? So tell them that we're going to continue forward. So they're making effort to avoid critical damage to the building. But we'll have to do the wiring piping system, the electrical wiring, the conduits, all of this.
Yes, so the briefing will give us at a time for the efforts.
I'm not sure that at the beginning they understand the nature of the fire and how it can spread. But they're working on it.
Thank you, sir.
We had there a comment from Home Affairs Minister Robeson Ben, who revealed that business owners and patrons in the building were smelling smoke since about 11 a.m. this morning, but no one was alarmed about the smell that was emanating from parts of the building. However, Mr. Ben continued to reveal that the fire eventually broke out at about 5:30 p.m. this afternoon. The Home Affairs Minister also indicated that the fire was moving along the ceilings of the building, and the structural integrity of the building, being steel and concrete, would still be intact. But what would perish, what is likely to perish, are the stores and the goods that are inside of the building. The smoke emanating from the Sharon Small building at Charlotte and King Streets continues to thicken. The smoke is so thick at the moment that the entrance that the fire tenders were trying to use to get into the second floor of the building is now clouded to eyewitnesses on the scene. Smoke also emanating from the roof of the building, and the third floor and the fourth floor has also intensified. An update from the ground floor, it seems that another business was able to open their store to get out their goods.
Yeah.
You know, side for what? No, we can't walk so far. I gotta get my shoe leather.
We go around the back, yeah, see?
Pineapple Park. Walk around the back of the store and go around in front. You want to go on the King Street. We go in here. Coming around here to get a closer glimpse of King Street, of the King Street face of the building. This side of the building has less smoke emanating than the Charlotte Street side, but the situation is equally as dire at the Sharon's Mall. Here we get a glimpse of some firemen suiting up, most likely to go into the building. And in the background, we can see some business owners and porters trying to get into their store to save their goods. A look here at the thick smoke that's emanating from the ground floor of the Sharon's Mall building. And another look here at the roof from which smoke is emanating. Just a reminder, this is iNews coming to you live from Charlotte and King Streets, where the Sharon's Mall building is engulfed in fire. The fire service here setting up an industrial fan inside one of the stores on the ground floor of the Sharon's Mall. As tragic as this situation is, it is important to note that the fire is currently contained only to the Sharon's Mall at Charlotte and King Streets, Georgetown. Another development here at Charlotte and King Streets, Georgetown. A lantern post at the corner at the intersection of the two streets just sparked So now it is unclear whether or not power to the building has been disconnected, or at least power around the building. There we have the spark. Here we have the spark. Eyewitnesses and probably business owners are becoming a little uneasy here on the King Street side of the Sharon's Mall building. The Guyana Fire Services industrial fan once again at work on the ground floor of the Sharon's Mall building.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Visibility around the Sharon's Mall building has now become extremely difficult as the smoke continues to emanate thickly from the building at Charlotte and King Streets. In addition, a lantern post at the intersection of the two corners continues to spark intermittently, raising questions as to whether or not power around the building has been disconnected. So far, no GPL vehicles or teams is on the scene. A store on the ground floor of the Sharon's Mall building seems to have been able to save quite a few of their goods. Here you can get a glimpse inside the store that has been emptied. This was the first store to be emptied about half an hour ago. The business owners showed up and staff showed up to start emptying their building. Of course, the situation at Charlotte and King Streets becomes a little more scary as the smoke comes out a lot thicker than it was when iNews arrived on scene at the Sharon's Mall building. Okay, we're getting a view here from the King Street side of the Sharon's Mall building. This is on King Street heading more to Regent. Around the back of the building, we're getting some glimpses of the flames and the color of the flames here. The vehicles in front of us here are those of business owners and probably rented vehicles that have come to transport goods that business owners are trying to get out of their stores and get out of harm's way. A glimpse here at the back of the building of the color of the flames that is emanating along with thick bundles of smoke. We're getting a glimpse here of staff and store owners packing their goods into vehicles. As I would have mentioned before, these stores on the ground floor are most likely the luckier of the set, having been able to get their goods out of the Sharon's Mall. The remaining 3 floors, those business owners will not be as lucky, since no one has been able to get into the building. That's how dire the situation is here at Charlotte and King Streets. Of course, just another reminder from iNews, this fire broke out at about 5:30 p.m. this afternoon. However, it was reported and confirmed by store owners that a smoky smell was coming from the building all day since 11 a.m. and the fire broke out at 5:30 p.m. At King Streets have been pushed back from where it initially stood. The barriers have been pushed back, indicating the severity of the fire at the Sharon's Mall on King and Charlotte Streets. Here we see some business owners being let past the barricade. Time check. 15?
7:50.
Good. Well, time is slow. What we were there doing in the office? Here we have a better view from the King Street angle of the smoke that is bellowing from the Sharon's Mall building. Of course, the smoke has intensified over the last half an hour to an hour since iNews has been on the scene. Okay, we're now getting a glimpse of the Guyana Power and Light team, emergency team. They are now on the scene. Of course, iNews previously reported that a lantern post at the intersections of Charlotte and King Street, the lantern post here, was sparking intermittently. We now have a GPL emergency team on the scene and they're coming through the barricade here on King Street. The GPL emergency team there heading up King Street. case you have just joined us, this is iNews on the scene of a major fire at the Sharon's Mall building on Charlotte and King Streets, Georgetown. The smoke from the roof of the Sharon's Mall building here continues to bellow thickly. This smoke, since iNews has been on the scene, has intensified 10 times over. Of course, as we can see from King Street, opposite the High Court, the Guyana Fire Service have brought out, here we go. This is the first glimpse of flames that we've seen since being here on scene. Of course, this is the iNews, and we are coming to you live from the Sharon's Mall building at Charlotte and King Streets. We're now getting our first glimpses of flames from the building, and as you can see, this is a very, very serious situation. From iNews' observation, since the flames have become visible, this building is deteriorating very quickly. It's being burnt up at lightning speeds. This is quite a sad situation to see, and of course the firemen may have to take cover since the glassy exterior of the Sharon's Mall building is crumbling onto the intersecting streets. Speaking personally, the heat emanating from the building may soon become too much to bear. This is quite a sad situation here. This is an This building is quite literally crumbling at lightning speed. This is a sad situation to see here at the intersection of Charlotte and King Streets. The heat emanating from the Sharon's Mall building is quite unbearable, and the Guyana Fire Service have had to move their trucks that were parked under the building. Those trucks have had to move, and it is quite safe to say that probably over 30 businesses, some are small businesses, in the Sharon's Mall building are going up in flames. Of course, the Sharon's Mall building is a variety building. It's had eateries, salons, makeup studios, variety stores, clothing stores. The Sharon's Mall building had it all, but as you can see, it is going up in flames. All this might be no more in a matter of minutes. Okay, the members of the Guyana Police Force Special Services are trying to get civilians to move their vehicles that are in front of the Mirage building on Charlotte Street and the Honda building on Charlotte Street. They're trying to get these vehicles moved because they might be in danger of getting damaged. Of course, for fear of personal danger, iNews will have to back up from being directly on the intersection of Charlotte and King Street because the fire at the Sharon's Mall is quite devastating. This is very sad to see here. A number of businesses, some of them small businesses, are going up in flames this evening. Of course, we can see fire tenders are continuing to risk their lives on the intersection, trying to get their equipment moved, trying to get their vehicles moved. But this building is going fast, and the materials, the exterior of the building, it's crumbling, and the building, we're unsure at the moment, but this might reach to other buildings. Of course, in the environs of the Sharon's Mall building, there is the High Court on the opposite side of Charlotte Street. There is the Mirage building on another side. There is a Chinese bonding store completely opposite the Sharon's Mall building on King Street. Next to it is another variety store that houses a few small buildings on the ground floor. And of course, behind the Sharon's Mall building are law offices. And then going down from those law offices, we have the City Hall compound. Once again, iNews is coming to you live from Charlotte and King Streets, where the Sharon's Mall building is going up in flames. This loss at Sharon's Mall will not only be devastating to the owners of the building, but also to the several small business owners that are housed in the mall. Previously, there was only smoke emanating from the building since it broke out at about 5:30 p.m. However, about 10 minutes ago, the flames became visible from the building, and it quite literally took everything in a matter of minutes. Once again, iNews is coming to you live from the Sharon's Mall building in Georgetown at the corners of of Charlotte and King Streets. It appears as though the first two floors of the Sharon's Mall building have been burnt through and through. On the scene, eyewitnesses can clearly see through the top two floors of the building. This is a devastating situation for those persons who are going to lose their livelihoods. The minister said that people were smelling smoke since about 11 a.m. this morning, but nobody really reported it. And then at about 5:30, people started seeing smoke, and then only a few minutes ago we got the flames. A devastating loss here at Charlotte and King Streets, where the Sharon's Mall building is going up in flames. Of course, the Guyana Fire Service continues to work through this situation. They're now trying to get some water into the building. How effective this is at the moment is quite unclear. Tell Timo.
It's too much plastic. Yeah, she said yes.
Hold this.
Breaking news. The one in front.
Oh, I don't know.
Once again, this is iNews coming to you live from the Sharon Small building at the corners of Charlotte and King Streets. The fire that had initially broke out was a little more intense than what we are seeing here right now, but it appears as though this fire is still not under control. Speaking on observation, the top 2 floors of the building and a rooftop floor have been burnt through and through. There haven't been any flames sighted from the 2nd floor, and the 1st floor remains smoking. Just an update, the iNews is unable to indicate at the moment if the fire has been able to get to any of the buildings in the environs of the Sharon's Mall. Owing to the intensity of the flames, we have had to move back a bit onto Charlotte Street. And the Guyana Fire Service continues to work assiduously to get this flame under control.
Yeah, that's there. Fire brigade and put on one side before them and Lord, he is working on building. The old building, remember the old building? My Lord, he is working.
Once again, this is iNews coming to you live from Charlotte and King Streets, where a fire continues to ravage the Sharon Small building. An entirely sad situation here in the heart of Georgetown. Read the top comment. A devastating situation here at the corners of Charlotte and King Streets, where the Sharon's Mall building is being ravaged by flames. Of course, this building houses over 30 businesses, some of them small businesses from Guyanese peoples of all walks of life, and their livelihoods are basically going up in flames this evening. Of course, the Guyana Fire Service continues to do the best they can to battle these flames. And as the situation stands, those business owners that were previously mentioned, those on the second, third, and fourth floors of the building, have not been able to save anything from their businesses, making for an entirely sad situation here this evening. Of course, some of the businesses on the ground floor, those facing the King Street, were able to get some of their goods out. Whether or not they were able to continue doing so is unclear, since iNews has had to retreat to Charlotte Street because of the intensity of the flames and the debris that is falling from the building. If you are just joining us, this is iNews coming to you live from from Charlotte and King Streets, where the Sharon's Mall is going up in flames. The situation this evening can be deemed a tragedy, as several businesses and the livelihoods of several Guyanese are being ravaged tonight by fire. Of course, the fire chief and other police officials are on the ground, while the members of the Guyana Fire Service continue to battle the flames. Once again, this is iNews coming to you live from Charlotte and King Streets, where the Sharon's Mall is currently on fire. The Guyana Fire Service is doing the best they can to contain this blaze. However, it seems that their hoses are no match for the fire that is ravaging this building. In addition, a recent development, the rain has begun to fall, which may lend a hand to the Guyana Fire Service here at the Sharon's Mall building that is currently on fire.
Yeah, go, you, watch, you go. Let me go.
go, 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 go.
Of course, if you are just joining us this evening, iNews is on the scene at Charlotte and King Streets, where the Sharon's Mall is currently being ravaged by fire. Debris from the building continues to fall as fire tenders work assiduously to do what they can to contain this blaze. In addition, iNews is unable at the moment to ascertain whether or not the blaze has reached any of the surrounding buildings, since owing to the intensity of the fire, civilians and eyewitnesses and media practitioners have had to retreat from the intersection of Charlotte and King Streets to a little way up on King Street. No, tell the uniform and then you relax. Of course, hundreds of jobs and quite a few businesses are currently going up in flames here at the Sharon's Mall on King and Charlotte Streets, where the building is ablaze. Currently on Charlotte Street, police officers are in conference, most likely discussing how to contain the crowds that have gathered in the environs of the Sharon's Mall building. In addition to variety stores, eateries, makeup parlors, clothing stores, there were a number of law offices being housed in the Sharon's Mall, and most likely those offices and their documents, their legal documents, are most likely going up in flames this evening.
The next side, you know, like going by there too. embarrassment. One fire really, very big fire. And then them tell you for the news now, fire more do a good job.
It is important to note that fire tenders are positioned on King Street and on Charlotte Street, attempting to contain the blaze. From iNews's observation, the tenders on the Charlotte Street side have ceased to attempt out the blaze, while those on King Street are continuing.
Go with the flat building and put up a big.
Senior sent me something.
Yeah, look, you can look on Facebook. And your notifications, you send the invite page. You're going to do it now. When we reach 5%, then I can get it out. I know how to do it, just as long as you send the invite. When they stick, yeah.
I bet you anybody in life. The money, so it's this, so it's this, so it's this. I can't put this.
Okay, it seems another fire tender is springing up here on Charlotte Street, and he is going up with the fire truck's ladder to get a better angle of the fire on the 3rd and 4th floors, in addition to a rooftop open floor. As you can see there, the fire tenders have ascended on a ladder, trying to get a better angle to contain this blaze here at the Sharon's Mall on Charlotte and King Street.
Alia, put Alia. Come.
The fire here at Sharon's Mall on Charlotte and King Street is going quickly. At the moment, the top floors of the building are burnt through and through. Only the structure, the shell of the building is left. It is unclear what is the situation in the 2nd floor of the building. The casings of that building, of course, this building was previously cased in glass. So those casings on the 2nd floor are still intact, while the ground floor that is made predominantly of concrete still seems to be intact, but the upper floors of the building are sadly gone. A glimpse of the fire tenders on the scene, trying to get the work done here this evening at the Sharon's Mall that is currently ablaze. Of course, the fire here at Sharon's Mall was quite a peculiar situation where the building smoked. From the outward appearance, the building smoked for about 2 hours before the fire broke out and quickly dismantled the exterior of the building, which was previously done in glass.
Hey, Alia.
For those of you just joining us, iNews is coming to you live from Charlotte and King Streets, where the Sharon's Mall building is currently ablaze. The Guyana Fire Service now is aiming an additional hose from the Charlotte Street side of the Sharon's Mall into the 3rd floor of the building, trying to get this blaze contained here this evening. As indicated to us a little earlier this evening by Home Affairs Minister Robeson Ben, patrons of the building and business owners were smelling smoke since about 11 a.m. Since 11 a.m. they were smelling smoke in the building, but no one was alarmed or notified anyone about the smoke that they were getting. However, at about 5:30 p.m. this afternoon, the building began to smoke mildly here and the fire service responded. However, they were unable to ascertain exactly what was going on in the building. And then at about 7:30 p.m., the flames at the Sharon's Mall broke out. Yeah. At the moment, iNews is currently on the scene at Charlotte and King Streets, Georgetown, where the Sharon's Mall building is currently ablaze. iNews is informing you now that we will break intermittently and we will restart our live in just a few minutes. We would encourage you to stay with us as we continue to bring you coverage from the Sharon's Mall building here at Charlotte and King Streets, Georgetown, where the building is being ravaged by flames.